Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Quest of Best of. Today, we're just going to be watching a little bit of gameplay, and I'll be talking about some of my recent skirmish results as well as some upcoming changes in the game. So, got some more Leblanc gameplay up on the screen for you guys. I participated in two July skirmishes. The first one, I was able to get my champion mat and champion card for the Lilia. It went pretty well. I didn't drop any matches during that skirmish. I had a tie or two in the Swiss phase, but otherwise it went pretty well. I went into some Irelias, some Yees, and an Annie as well. And then for my second skirmish, I made top cut and I lost in the top four against an Irelia. So overall, pretty happy with how LeBlanc feels. Obviously, she still has a lot of trouble into the purple decks, but um, there's not much you can do about that. You just have to play and hope that they don't have their answers, hope that they don't have the gust, hope that they don't have the star-crossed on you hook, among other things. But looking at the gameplay, we see Kaisa gets an early conquer here. I was able to develop a unit to the board. Their passing turn. Nothing super great in my hand, so I'm considering my options. I know I can't win combat into the Boro, so pushing up into the other battlefield. I'm looking for some extra draw, thinking about what I want to duplicate. I know Kaisa plays pretty low to the ground, so Harness Dragon is an okay discard here. There's no super big units that I need to get rid of. Getting the duplicate out, and then also developing the LeBlanc in base. I currently don't have any other skirmishes lined up for the rest of the Unleashed set meta. We'll see if that changes at all. I think I'm just mainly practicing and then preparing for the upcoming pre-riffs as well. But I'm pretty excited for Vendetta. Obviously, so far with the reveals, I don't think there's a lot that will change for LeBlanc and her game plan. Not a lot of Death Knell, if any, cards being introduced, among other things. But I'm still pretty excited. I think there's going to be some really fun other decks to try. Um, I know that they're releasing the ban list for the Vendetta meta tomorrow. Pretty excited for that. I think they're gonna ban a couple cards that I will display on the screen right now. But getting back to the game, we saw Kaisa go up to 3 using the Star Spring battlefield interaction to have her Poro conquer again. She passes turn back to me with 3 runes up. On my turn, I'm gonna move in with LeBlanc, looking to conquer and hopefully get some more draw with a LeBlanc duplicate. But Kaisa plays out a Chakram Dancer, and with that, she's able to go 5 defending into my 4 attacking, so I'm going to have to trade with one of the units here. I'm going to choose the Chakram Dancer here just because it's the bigger unit, and I don't want to give Kaisa the draw from the Sentry Death Knell. So just kind of considering my options, thinking about what I'm going to do in the upcoming turns. I have a couple options here. I can develop one big unit in the Rex, or I can develop both my Scout and my Sentry as smaller units. Considering here what I want to do, I know Kaisa runs a lot of backline removal spells such as Falling Star, so it would kind of suck if Kaisa decided to do that, just because it sets me back another turn of development. Back on Kaisa's turn, she's tapping 3, gonna play out a Lecture and Yordle to get another draw. Maybe searching for some of the answers she needs. Gonna tap another 3, and she's going to play out another Lecture in Yordle, getting an additional draw. She held up to 5, and not a ton of use in holding the units at the battlefield, in my opinion. So she opts to move the sentry back and keep the Poro at the battlefield, passing turn to me. Obviously here, my game plan is to get a duplicate of my Ruined Rex. I drew into a Karthus, which is really nice. I'll be able to get multiple Death Knell procs if I choose to sacrifice the Rex, either with the hook or with the card sacrifice. I'm discarding the sentry to get a Rex copy. Makes sense considering my options in hand. playing 3 and a yellow for the Karthus. And then here I tap an additional 2, using the scout to push back my Rex reflection, allowing me to conquer an additional battlefield. Moving up to 3. And then I'm considering hiding the Hidden Blade, deciding if it's something worth doing or something worth keeping into the late game. I have the sacrifices for both of my Rex copies if Kaisa does have the removal, and I actually opt to use one right now on my turn while Kaisa has minimal runes up for interaction. I know I need to remove the units in the backline anyways, and this also allows me to channel the rune for my next turn, and I'll be able to use that rune awakened. Also getting a little bit of additional draw here as well. And then, after a little bit of thinking, I opt to hide the Hidden Blade at the battlefield. I think it's really important for me to maintain control of this battlefield and get the hold and the reflection trigger again. Also, Hidden Blade is really good for Kaisa's top end card, which is Thousand Tailed Watcher. So this will prevent her from playing Thousand Tailed Watcher accelerated and just clearing the battlefield for free. And Kaisa uh, pushes up into the other battlefield with the sentry, getting the conquer there, moving up to 6. So now within a turn within lethal here on her next turn. She still has Kaisa in the champion zone, which I need to be aware of, just because that card has accelerate. I need to lock her out for the rest of the game. Another thing that I'm trying to consider is time warp. I know that's pretty popular in Kaisa decks. She's at the 10 runes now, so she could hold up to 7 here and maybe make something happen, but instead she opts to tap 1, stupefying my Karthus, maybe looking for answers, getting an additional draw. Kaisa into Leblanc, I would say, is a bit of a favorable matchup for Leblanc, especially in the first game, just because Kaisa really focuses on removal with spells and with removal with kill spells, and that feeds pretty nicely into Leblanc's game plan, just because she's okay with death knell triggers happening. And in response to the Bell's Breath, I actually opt to Hidden Blade my Sorin Scout, just to get the 2 rune channeled before the Karthus dies, as well as the extra draw. And then we see Kaisa tapping an additional 2, getting an additional sentry out. Another 3, or another 4, sorry, to play the Kaisa. And then she passes turn. Honestly, I think it was a little bit over aggressive to develop the Kaisa, especially because she knows I'll be duplicating the Rex, most likely getting a Rex trigger, and Kaisa's right at that 4 might threshold for the Rex to kill, so I'm going to discard another Harness Dragon, getting my Rex out. Kaisa also doesn't know that I have Karthus in hand, I have Baited Hook in hand, so I have a lot of ways to force the Death Knell proc. I'm just considering my options here, making sure I'm ordering everything the right way, and kind of just playing as smart as possible. She only has 1 rune up, so I know she doesn't have a lot of interaction. Maybe if anything, she's holding 1 rune up for retreat, possibly. But I'm gonna play out the scout, use the battlefield trigger to push my reflection over, get in the additional conquer. Then I'm gonna play 3 and a yellow for my Karthus. I'm gonna follow that up by tapping 3 for the baited hook. I'm going to pay 1 and a yellow to activate the baited hook onto the Rex. I'm looking to get another physical body out. Pretty good draws here. I'm happy to see the Rift Herald. I think Rift Herald is one of my favorite cards in this deck. It feels super good when you get to properly utilize it. Synergizes really well with a lot of LeBlanc's game plan. I'm going to play the Rift Herald to the battlefield, and then I'm going to use the 2 Rex triggers just to clear Kaisa's backline here. And then with 1 rune up, I'm going to pass turn over to Kaisa. Having the 1 rune up is pretty nice just because I have Sacrifice in hand, and I can use Rex as a way to deal 8 damage to a unit that's played out. Possibly the Thousand Tailed Watcher gets me right over that 7 might threshold, so that's pretty nice to have in hand. Kaisa is going to open by playing Falling Star, and killing the Karthus, as well as doing 3 damage to the Rex. After getting the Karthus out of the back line, we see Kaisa go for an accelerated Thousand Tail Watcher here. Pretty good game plan. Uh, with the Watcher trigger, it's going to bring my Rex within kill range with the pre-existing damage, so I'm thinking about it, and I do decide to play Sacrifice just because I want a little bit of additional draw. Might as well just ramp a little bit. So Rex goes to trash. Rift Herald is down to 4 might. Luckily, Watcher can't really push into the Void Gate to kill the Rift Herald just because it has the 4 damage from the Rex death knell. So Kaisa instead opts to move into the Star Spring, killing my Sorin Scout. I get back an additional rune. Honestly, I'm very okay with that. I have Mirror Image in hand. I have Eyes in hand now. I already have Baited Hook out, so I'm in a pretty strong position. One singular Watcher is going to be something that I can get over pretty easily. And we see Kaisa opts to tap an additional 2, just get 1 extra might on the board, and pass turn over to me. I'm pretty happy with this. Kaisa's fully tapped out. There's not a lot of interaction. There's no interaction that she can do here, so as long as I can clear the board, I'll be in a pretty good spot. I also drew into my second Hidden Blade, which is really good in case Kaisa ends up playing an additional Watcher on her next turn, like looking to double conquer. So I Mirror Image the Rift Herald, do the move trigger, reveal the Watcher, play it to hand, and then I'm going to tap 5 and a yellow, playing the Vi out, stunning the Watcher. It should allow me to take this battlefield with no issues. Kaisa removes her units. I conquer up to 7, tap Leblanc. Considering what I want to remove here, definitely one of the units. Want to keep the Hidden Blade up. And then I'm going to duplicate the Rift Herald for a bunch of extra might on this battlefield. It's going to be a pretty difficult conquer for Kaisa, especially if she's playing 8 and 2 for the Watcher. She's only going to have 4 runes left up to use to clear, and then I'm going to hold Hidden Blade in hand just because I want to be able to play it to either battlefield, and I have 4 runes up, so there's no issue with me opting not to hide it, other than the fact that I won't get it at reaction speed. That should not be an issue. Kaisa's going to Falling Star my Vi, and then my Alone Rift Herald, possibly looking to conquer that battlefield. Here, I make a little bit of mistake. Void Gate should actually have 4 damage on the Rift Herald just because of the battlefield rule. So Kaisa plays out the Watcher, killing the Vi with the Watcher trigger, bringing both my Rift Heralds down to 4 piece. And then eventually here I notice that this Rift Herald should actually die. And then activating Rift Herald Death Knell, I just spend 1 yellow power to get my Galactic Mixologist to the base. Here, Kaisa is considering her options. Looking pretty bad for her. She doesn't know I have Hidden Blade in hand here as well, so I'm feeling pretty good. And she is going to attempt to conquer. Pretty quickly, I'm going to Hidden Blade the Watcher. I don't mind giving her the draw when she only has the 2 runes. I should be able to win the game on a hold here, so. And there we have it. Kaisa sends in a GG, and that is the end of the game. I hope you guys enjoyed watching a little bit more gameplay, and we got pre-riffs coming up soon, so excited to share my experiences with you guys on that as well.